peanut. You magnificent bastard. Tell these good people why I am going to be selected to win the presidency. Notice that I said selected and not elected, because the 13 bloodlines who really rule this world are the ones who really say who wins and who loses, not the voters who have been programmed to consent to the process, which will betray them anyway. Show them peanut. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
If you had to pick one country in the world who is the biggest hindrance to the New World Order, which country would that be? Now, if you said the United States of America, you would be correct. Now, if you had to pick between the right and the left in this country, which one is the biggest threat to the New World Order? Now, if you said the political right is the biggest threat to the New World Order, then you would be right. The reason why is that the right is more patriotic. The conservative right wants to protect and prolong the life of the United States, including the Constitution and other things like borders and sovereignty. So if you wanted to blame and demonize one of them for the impending crash of the dollar, and someone convenient to blame, you would want to blame that on the right. This would help to discredit the conservative right. I hope everyone is still with me so far. So if you wanted to discredit one side of the political aisle, who would you want to have in power when the dollar crashes? If you said the conservative right, then you would be correct. This would make a scapegoat out of the conservative right, and an easy way to demonize them. If the liberal left were in power when the dollar crashed, it would give the conservative right an almost legendary or mythological image in the minds of the people. One could say almost messianic. Like it would give any conservative leader an almost mythic status similar to creating a martyr. This would inspire people to stand up and fight to the last. And that is exactly what they don't want. That is why they need a right-wing so-called conservative in charge when the dollar crashes. What we just discussed was looking at this issue from a worldly point of view. But we can also look at this whole thing from a spiritual point of view. So let's examine this timeline from a biblical perspective, shall we? To begin with, the red heifers are in Israel right now. This is biblical. They need red heifers to bless the rebuilding of the third temple. The third temple has to be in place to reveal the Antichrist. There have not been red heifers in Israel for thousands of years. And the lifespan of a heifer is about 20 years. So this would give us 20 years at best. And then you have the biblical metaphor of the budding of a fig tree. This basically means that not one generation will pass once Israel becomes a nation again, which happened right after World War II. Which basically brings us to right about now. And the signs are everywhere, but I am not going to enumerate them all right here, so you just got to either take my word for it, or research this part yourself. Now this is the part where many Pied Pipers will argue and tell you that you have more time left, but do you really want to gamble your eternal salvation on someone else's ego? If you are indeed a gambler, then I wish you the best of luck, but I just want to remind you that he comes like a thief in the night. Anyway, if you read Revelation 13, it clearly shows that the Antichrist, without exception, will rule and control the entire earth, and all people left on earth. For slow people, that means he will either rule the United States too, or the United States will no longer be around. And if you think about it, that means that the Antichrist will rule the New World Order. So who will the Antichrist try to demonize in the United States, the liberal left, or the evangelical right? So obviously he will want to blame Christians, and the majority of Christians are on the right. The Antichrist will need to crash the dollar to prepare the way for the New World digital currency. This will be critical for setting up the mark of the beast, where no man can buy or sell without the mark of the beast. So the Antichrist will need a scapegoat to blame. He will do this to the two witnesses, and he will do this to you as well. So he will want Donald Trump to be president when the dollar crashes. That way he can blame the Christian right for the impending crash of the dollar. They have been using Donald Trump and the alternative right to tar and feather people for what is about to become. They will label you all as racists in the same way they labeled Donald Trump a racist. It is just another example of problem, reaction, solution. It is what they do. They will label us all as domestic terror or wrists. They will blame us for everything, just like they will for the two witnesses. Then they will probably instigate a civil war, and then divide and conquer. There will also be issues on a global scale, which will lead to suffering like this world has never seen before. And that is when the Antichrist will step in to provide a ready-made solution that they have been herding us all to since the beginning of time. So you need to let go of the illusion of politics. Just look around you. They are already demonizing you. The government is not your friend. The Antichrist will rise to power through the governments of this world. Just look at how people have been programmed to go after people wearing MAGA hats, without consequences. That was just training for what is to become. To program the left to dehumanize you. They have to demonize you to use them to finish you off, for the purge that is coming. They are being programmed to think it is socially acceptable to attack you. You are their enemy, and the whole thing is a setup. There are no white hats coming to save you. Do not be fooled by the world. It is time to take off the training wheels and let go of the world. Spoiler alert, read Revelation 13. You have already been sold out, and you don't even realize it. Trump is the bait and the hook, and you have gleefully taken the bait. At this point, I am going to let you in on a little secret. There is no worldly solution to any of this. This whole world is a trap. You are all like fish who have taken the Trump deception, hook, line, and sinker, but not to worry, for Jesus will make you fishers of men. And that is why we are here. We are not here to save this physical world, including the United States. The body dies, but the soul lives on. We are here to be used as vessels. We are servants of the Lord, and we are here to spread the word. I don't know what else to tell you, but you cannot say that you were not told.
This is why I will be declared the winner in November. They need to make a scapegoat to blame for the collapse of the dollar, and you will be blamed as well as me. We are all being set up for what is to follow. They will bring on the most brutal, totalitarian, evil form of communism that this world has ever seen, in the form of a Luciferian theocracy, where the entire world will be forced to worship the beast. Wake up. If you understand that Hollywood and television is evil, and you know that the CIA is part of the government, then look at Project Mockingbird. It's all connected. Wake up. This whole election is just theater. The Rothschilds own the banks that loan campaign money to both sides, and the Rothschilds own the media. They control the whole show. We do not wrestle against flesh and blood. So many people need to posture and pose less and pray more if you follow the Pied Pipers of this world, who pump themselves up with bravado and pride. Then you are no different than the people who voted for bar rabbis over Jesus. This is not a Rubik's Cube. Figure it out. The whole thing is a show, and they control both sides. And the only one who is on your side is Jesus. Trump out bitches.